92 neighborhood councils. For the new council, my apologies for keeping the 91 number going too long. I have 75 years of experience in this city as of last Thursday. You missed my birthday. And I go back further than Mr. Krikorian. I know this city when it was a very loose set of neighborhoods. One of my good friends is in the front row, he knows it too. And what has happened to this city is absolutely extraordinary. We first of all filled in every empty spot. We've crystallized a lot of communities into cultural and ethnic and philosophically unified entities. My way of thinking, a terrible mistake, because I had the privilege of growing up in a community that was ethnically extraordinarily diverse. In grammar school, middle school, college, junior high then, and high school. And I wished that for my children, did the best that I could, that they should see that we are a very broad-based city. I've done a number of things in neighborhood council. Many of you know what some of the things I've done. I've given you a ballot or a report card for the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment with apologies that I've already had to make to several city officials. No city official is going to get this one. All right? Maybe Mary Benson. No, maybe not. But the ballot, the report card, is to try to do what I think is the first step in carrying forward what is the most extraordinary experiment in democracy, I think, since the First Amendment was put down. This makes the First Amendment real, friends. This says we have a right of free speech. This also says we have a right to redress our grievances. The other two parts of the First Amendment are not as related to neighborhood council activity, but maybe they are. I'll leave that up to you. And in order to do that, in a very severe economic time, when Dunn's people have been cut from 62, as they were about 4 or 5 years ago, to 15 now, the added 5 that have just been put back are not in place yet. This is both an opportunity and a requirement that we neighborhood councils begin to assume the responsibilities that Dunn has had for the last 10 years. They've done their primary activities. With Mr. Nelson, who is here, they created a plan that we all live by even now. It gets changed from time to time, but the plan was originated in his jurisdiction and under his supervision, and with all credit to him. We now have 92 councils. Almost every part of the town is recognized and part of the city government. Palisades and Brentwood and some small areas of the valley in central LA are the only gap spaces right now. Yet those areas already have community councils that do very much what we do. In order for us to assume the responsibilities of Dunn, we have to do 3 things. First of all, we have to find out what they are. So the report card I gave you, and if anybody doesn't have it, I have some on the table over there, and I have some more in my hand, goes through what the city charter says they are. That's the law. There are 18 items, or maybe 16, anyway, somewhere in the teens, items that Dunn is required to do, and 2 that they've pretty well completed. Learn them, and give us your opinion, perhaps comments about the way they've fulfilled each and every one of those responsibilities. The second thing is then to fashion a new Dunn that will understand that if you are happy with the way Dunn has done one of those responsibilities, let's let them continue it. But if you're unhappy about one of those responsibilities, let's see what we can do to fill it in and finish it. And then the third step, of course, is implementation. I understand that there can be some questions. Some people may want to input. I hope you also see in the handouts, and there are some others here, that I've started a new website, a Yahoo group. Some of you are already in Yahoo groups. We don't have enough, Adrian, is that right? Is that why your eyes went? Well, but this one, and I'm going to cancel a couple of the other ones I've already created. But this one is for stakeholders only. And this is for you as an individual, whether you're a board member or not. So you can speak your mind clearly as an individual. All right? And hear what your colleagues have to say about that. With the budget advocates that you've just heard about, we have put together and gathered up the master list of all of you new electeds, and the old electeds as well. We're going to publish that, or not publish it, we're going to use that. It is not going to be available for a Public Records Act, because doing this outside the city, we don't have any obligation to fulfill public records. I'd like you to help me build that so that we can include as many of your neighbors as possible. And we're going to try to see, well, what are you interested in? Planning, perhaps? Plan check, shall we say? All right. The parks? I mean, I can point out what interests I know many of you have. And each will have a profile so that we can group you. We will also have groups of discussions on our website that you can go to. Now, this website is open to anyone and everyone, including our city fathers, mothers, and cousins, to look at what we're doing and saying, because we are in the public's eye, and we have no right to hide or shield our opinions. On the other hand, only you can put input into this particular website so that we can truly represent the people. One last point, it came up in several of the conversations that were made here. The city looks at the neighborhood councils, and when they look at the neighborhood councils, they look at the board of directors. They don't look at all of our constituents, they look at those of us who are elected on boards. They want a consensus from us. They want to know what we all want so that they can do it and satisfy what they see as the public. Well, we're a very different kind of organization. Perhaps it wasn't intended, but that's the way it is. We are an organization whose responsibility is to represent all the diverse interests in the city. If we have a consensus, somebody's opinion isn't being expressed. All right? You heard Al Abrams talk about wanting to reconsider the definition of a stakeholder. Al knows or should know pretty well that if he gets up in front of a public and I'm going to follow him, I'm going to take a task with him. Now, if Al and I don't disagree, we'll not be doing what we really do best. All right. We do it with respect. We do it with understanding of one another's positions. We do not do it with any personal intent. But I disagree. I like this current definition. Live, work, own property, or affirms a relation. Were it not for that, I'd still be in a neighborhood council that I do not want to be in, that meets in this room. And am in a neighborhood council in which I've been much more productive, much more free to work, and I've allowed the neighborhood council that I left the opportunity to do so without my benefit. I wish them well, too. All right. I understand there may be some questions. If you wish to, please do. I answered all the questions.
Any questions?
Last time I did.